I will then upload it onto a YouTube, but it will be private.
Okay.
So it's not public, but I will then send you the link. Otherwise, sending videos gets very large for you and me.
Yeah.
This way,
Yes.
you can just log on and watch it whenever you like. Okay, wonderful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go through, I've got some slides as I talk you through, but this is very interactive. So I'm going to ask a lot of questions. I want you to feel free to ask questions as we go along. I'm going to do everything I can to help you to improve your English moving forward. So I'm going to teach you some techniques that I want you to implement. The feedback I had recently was that homework would be useful. So I'm going to give you some homework. Obviously, it's up to you if you do it. I'm not going to be homework police. And I know that when you have kids, it's sometimes difficult to fit it in, but I'm going to give you some work to do on your own, so that will reinforce what you're learning here today. Okay?
Okay.
So today we're going to be dealing with vocabulary. Next week we have pronunciation, then the third week listening, and the fourth week speaking. The third and fourth week, although I will teach you some techniques, we'll be doing more role playing so that you'll be practicing your techniques as we move forward. Okay? Great. So let me just share the screen. Okay, so the first part is, I have a picture of my children actually when they were, younger. Hold on, why is it? As my screensaver. So now, great. Just move this up. Okay, so you can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. I see.
Right.
I'm seeing.
Okay, wonderful. So with regards to this course, you're obviously doing a speaking course. First thing I want you to do is actually set your goal. So in order to improve any skill, you need to set goals as you go along. And so I'm going to ask you now, what is your big goal with regards to English? And let's make it a smaller one that's achievable in the next month. Obviously, most people want to speak English in a native way or something similar, but what's your big goal? And let's nail it down to a small, achievable goal that you will manage in the next month. I'm going to drink my coffee if that's okay.
It's okay.
Otherwise, my throat will dry up. So yes, tell me what you want to achieve.
You're right. I would like to speak English like native, but I know that it's impossible so fast in 1 month. For 1 month, I would like to speak English to some grade with confidence. I understand when I read English, but I'm not sure that I speak correctly.
Okay.
And therefore I escape to speak with public on English.
Okay. First of all, I want to say that we are communicating very easily. So I'm assuming that you can understand me because you're responding to me exactly yes, as I'm asking the questions. So I think that confidence is an issue that a lot of people have a problem with. And I would confirm that, as with most of my students, you are better than you think you are. You're saying the right words, you're saying them in the right way, you're just a little hesitant. And if you can gain a little bit more confidence, then that will be fantastic. Now, how are you going to gain confidence?
When I will be sure that I speak enough good to understand each other.
Yeah.
Because in every part of my life, I would like to be perfect. What I do.
Ah,
That's a problem for me.
perfection is always the problem, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Perfection and native speaking. Oh, sorry. Can you see me?
Yes,
Can you
I
see
see.
the screen?
Yes, I'm seeing your email.
Okay. Let me just, sorry. I just wanted to get rid of, because I'm very guilty of having lots of tabs open. So I'm just going to, let's do this one more time. So I've moved the other tabs out of the way. Okay, great. Okay, so now increasing confidence is going to come with knowing that you're saying the right things, knowing that you're improving, and knowing that your listening and speaking skills are good. And as you get more confident in your knowledge, you will continue to improve your confidence and your skills at the same time.
Yes.
Okay. So it's impossible to measure confidence goals.
Yes.
Okay. But what I want you to do, this is homework part number 1, is when we finish this call or sometime during the weekend, I want you to find a piece of text and I want you to record yourself reading it out. Okay. Doesn't matter how long the text is. The idea is that you record yourself reading it now, and then you will be able to compare the way that you read now and the way that you speak now. In a month's time, you can look back on this and you will see how much you've grown.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's your first homework. And I want you to, I know it's difficult to define a goal right now, but I want you to try and define a more manageable goal, something that you can actually know when you've achieved. Okay? So I'm going to leave that with you, and I will ask you what that goal is when you come to the next lesson. Okay? Something that you can measure, something that you will need. So, for example, it could be volunteering to speak to a client 4 times in the week. It could be volunteering to do, I don't know, a presentation at work. It could be speaking to, I mean, I have one guy and his main goal was to go and speak to the parents outside his children's school, because he knew by doing that, it would then lead to other conversations, and he refused to open his mouth. Even though he was speaking perfectly well, but he was just lacking that confidence to speak to other parents. So find a goal that you want to achieve and let's work towards that goal together. Okay.
Okay.
Speaking is a two-pronged attack. First of all, you have to know the words to say, and you have to say them in a way that can be understood. So that's why the first 2 elements of this course, number 1 is vocabulary, and number 2 is pronunciation. Okay, so today we're going to deal with the vocabulary part of it. So, the most important thing is not that you learn pages and pages of vocabulary, because you need to deal with that. It's okay. It's no problem.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I'm in office and
people come and bother you.
My assistant and
yeah. Okay. So the most important thing is that you find your vocabulary. So you don't want to learn pages of stuff you will never learn. You will never use, because you're wasting your brain space. So I know that you want to improve your business vocabulary. So think about what books, what articles, what podcasts you can listen to, what radio stations you can listen to, where you will find your vocabulary. So I want you to think about what you want to say, who you want to speak to, and with this in mind, the type of vocabulary you need to improve. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you that question. Who do you want to speak to and what do you want to say?
I want to speak with my colleague from insurance industry.
Okay?
With my various business partners from banks.
Okay.
With managers for the for effectiveness, motivating people, and etc. Some manager skills.
Okay, so you want to motivate the managers to do a better job.
Yes.
To motivate their staff.
We learn with now we have from our group one course from Stephen Covey, extraordinary productivity.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so you have three major different sectors there. And so with regards to your goal, you could maybe pick one of those to work on, because you can, like being a native speaker, you can't do everything at once. So which is the most, so 1, 2, 3, which is the most important?
Insurance, banks.
Insurance or banks? Because you want to work for the insurance industry and banks partners. Which is the most important for you?
Insurance.
Insurance. Okay. So that's number 1. Banks is number 2, and 3 is managers. Okay, so fantastic. So with regards to, let's look at that as a focus. So how often do you meet the colleagues in the insurance industry?
We have meetings every week, but we usually have local meetings where we talk for local topics. That's in that group. It's not necessary to speak on English.
Okay.
But I would like to participate in some seminars and conference out of our country, international seminars.
Okay.
Often I have a request invite from them to be speaker on that conference, but I don't accept that because I'm afraid from my English.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so that is a very, very specific goal. So I want you to accept the next invitation that you receive.
Yes.
Because if you accept the next invitation that you receive, we can work. We can tailor this whole course surrounding you making a fantastic presentation confidently. Okay.
Okay.
So, fantastic. So let's start with the vocabulary that you need. So what would you like to talk about in your presentation? How long will the presentation be? What would you like to talk about?
It depends from the topic of conference. Last year, the topic was digitalization in insurance claims. Okay. And transformation insurance, life insurance, like traditional products of insurance, but and our products have some transformation. Topic was to share some experience.
Okay. So what if you, okay, when will the next opportunity come? Do you know?
No, probably end of beginning of next year.
Right. Okay. So, okay. So we have plenty of time then. So yes. I want you in your mind to create a topic that you might like to speak on. And then what we can do is we will help you to do all the work surrounding that topic as part of this speaking course. And then you can then tweak it. Do you know the word tweak?
What?
Tweak it. You can make small changes. You can tweak it when the invitation comes.
Okay,
Okay?
it will be
Okay.
good.
So let's think about what you might like to talk about. If you were given the choice, if you could talk about any subject, what subject would you like to talk about? If you were given an opportunity to present, what would be the subject that you feel most comfortable in your knowledge? What would you like to talk about?
I would like to talk about life insurance, progress in life insurance, and changing in expectation of our clients.
Fantastic, perfect. Okay, so now what I want you to do, this is not obviously not right now, but as you moving through, I want you to go through, it's a great title. I want you to go through all of the things that you would like to talk about. I'm going to send you a presentation skills template of what to let me just make a note of it. Presentation skills template of what you need to bear in mind. Obviously, you need to think about the audience. The audience will all be experts in their field.
Yes.
So you need to speak. You can obviously use lots of jargon, lots of specialist words and phrases. So I want you, for your first element, is to start looking for. In fact, let me move on to the next slide. I will come back to that one. Start making a note of where you want to go to find the vocabulary you will need. So I know that there's trade magazines. There's absolutely going to be YouTube channels based around life insurance and in a specialized way. There will, I'm sure, be TED Talks on the subject. There will be lots of different areas that you can use to search for specialist life insurance words and phrases in English.
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this to you as a template, so you can all the slides that I'm doing. But I want you to take this slide particularly and actually fill it in. So what podcast do you want to listen to? What magazines and newspapers and articles? And any other, obviously there's trade magazines specifically for life insurance. Any other places that you can look? You can look at, for example, if they've recorded the previous sessions, the previous speeches, can you get hold of copies of those speeches? Because you might well find that if they make recordings of the speeches, you can actually use those speeches to find your own vocabulary.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah. So make a note of where you want to look, what and where you want to find this information. Okay. With an aim of incorporating finding your vocabulary every single day. We're talking about 1 or 2 words, phrases every day. Okay.
Okay.
I will come back to the previous one, but I just want to move forward to set up a Google Sheets. I always recommend Google Sheets if you've got something that you can use similar, but something that you can put on your phone and something that you can have on your computer so you can access it wherever you like. Then make a note of the word and phrase, and then you make a note of the meaning, what they mean. And then what you can do is review those words and phrases whenever you have a couple of minutes. Okay, so don't just write them down and run away, because you will forget them. And this is a problem that a lot of my students used to have, is they would make a list of all of these words and phrases that they were learning, but they weren't useful, and so they just completely forgot them. Because you have let me just, you have an active vocabulary. Okay, so the words and phrases that you know and that you use are in this small container here.
I can see.
You can?
Yes, and it is better.
Okay, and the words and phrases that you kind of know, that you kind of understand when they're used, but you wouldn't use yourself, is in the passive vocabulary. Okay? We don't want to add to the passive vocabulary. We want to increase the active vocabulary. We want to increase the vocabulary that you use. Okay? So the way of doing that is to find all the words and phrases that you will use. And then use them. Because the more you use them, your brain cannot remember every piece of information. It receives millions of pieces of information. So right now you're looking down at your coffee cup and you're thinking, well, that's a nice cup of coffee, or that's not a nice cup of coffee. All of these thoughts your brain is processing every second of every day. What you need to do is use the words and phrases that you want, and that will mean that your brain will go, I need to remember that. Bless you.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, so moving back to the previous one. Develop a reading habit. So develop a way of finding your vocabulary. Don't just stumble upon words and phrases. I want you to actively, that's why I wanted you to, to go and make a note of these places so that you're actually looking for words and phrases that are useful for you. So search for them and make it everyday habit. It will only take 5 or 10 minutes to find new words. And then you need to make sure that you use them wherever you can. Even if you create your, in any reports that you write, anything you prepare, use them, okay?
Okay.
When you're looking for these words and phrases, it's really important that you have enough sleep, because then your brain can really focus. So I know it's really difficult because especially if you've got children, sleep is kind of down on the list of things to do. Cooking for the kids, finding their homework in the morning.
I sleep enough.
Oh, you do? Okay, that's perfect then. That's perfect.
I must sleep and then I wake up and go on.
Do you know sleep is one of the most important things that most people don't get enough of? But yes, sleep is so important. I myself, I get at least 8 hours every night. And then I wake up without an alarm, which is amazing. And then I get on with my day. Play word games. Wordle is one of my favorite word games. Personally, it's just it's 5 letters, and you have to change the letters around to make the word of the day. You only get 6 attempts to change the letters around, but it's a very good and fun word game. But it's very important that you use something that you find fun, that you would do if you have a couple of minutes, because it will just help you find your words. So this is good because it's a 5 letters, and most of the words are very well used on a day-to-day basis. So it's a good practice to find other words. Okay, so it's all about every day having your words. And the good thing about Wordle is you only do 1 a day. It's 1 puzzle every day. That's it. Okay?
Okay.
And then read and listen. When you're reading and listening to your English, be it YouTube, be it, this is generally podcasts, trade press, when you're reading or when you're listening, read and listen mindfully. Okay, so this will help your listening skills as well, but it will also improve your vocabulary. Listen and think, oh, that word is useful. Don't try and make a note of every word or phrase, but that word is useful, that word is useful, and make a note of those. Okay?
Okay.
This one here, the Pecha Kucha, which is where the TED Talks are, it's the last one, is a really interesting concept. You might find this one a little difficult to start with, but what they have is they have a speaker has 20 slides, which they prepare in advance, but each slide changes every minute. So they have to talk about the slide for only 1 minute. They can't get distracted. And then they carry on the next slide, the next slide, the next slide. So it's a really interesting use of presentation skills. And for that, I love it.
Okay.
Okay. So TED Talks, TEDx Talks are also excellent. TEDx Education you have as well. You might find some really useful information about life insurance in the TEDx Education section. It can be a very good level. It might be too basic for you on occasion, but when it comes to finding vocabulary, you're not necessarily looking at the content that you're going to learn. You're looking for your words. Okay. Right. So moving on. The reason that you forget your words is Ebbinghaus has a forgetting curve. And what happens is, can you read it? Okay. Is it clear enough? So you originally learn a word and then you will forget it in quite a short amount of time. Okay, I'm going to use the word Ebbinghaus. You'll probably forget that word. If I don't mention it again, you'll probably forget it in a minute or so, because it's not important to you. You don't really need it. And therefore your brain thinks, no, not interested. But if I say the word Ebbinghaus again in a minute's time, then your brain will start to think, okay, that word is quite important. And it will take longer to forget it. And this happens every time you review a word. So every time you review a word, it takes longer for you to forget it. And that's why when I said about doing Google Sheets, it means when you review the words, which you will review them maybe 3 or 4 times a day, if you're waiting in a queue for a bank, if you're waiting at a shop, or if you're waiting in the car for your kids to come out of an activity, whenever you have like 2 or 3 minutes, go through those words and phrases. You will find if you do it every day, you only have to glance at the words at the top, and that will keep them relevant in your mind. And you can spend more time doing the lower words, but just keep doing it. And then the words will stay in your active vocabulary. We don't want them drifting into the passive. We want to keep and expand your active vocabulary. Okay?
Okay.
So anything that you think is not interesting and not useful, forget it. Don't make a note of any words or phrases that you think, I'm really not interested in this. Okay? Because you don't want to waste your focus on words that are irrelevant to you. Okay? Okay. So how you feel also will affect how you remember, and it will also affect your confidence levels. So I want you to delete anytime you say anything negative about your English skills. I want you to become aware of this and delete that thought. I'm not good at English. My pronunciation is not good enough. I don't understand fully. I want you to delete those words and phrases from your mind and replace them with positive things.
Okay, I have some techniques for that, and I need to implement them.
Brilliant.
I am a neuro-linguistic practitioner.
Okay.
But I need to work for all this topic.
Absolutely. We all need to work on it. And it's a consistent work. It's not just I do it once. And I mean, if you're that type of specialist, then you will motivating your managers to motivate their staff. This is really important as well. But yeah, I find I have a really good technique, which is cancel, clear, delete.
Cancel, clear?
Clear, delete. So I say a negative thing and I think, cancel that. I didn't say that. And then clear it from my thoughts right now, and then delete it from my thoughts completely. And then, but obviously you can't just delete it. You have to replace it with something else. So reframe it completely. Okay. So you need confidence. So I want you to delete that. I need to grow my confidence, and replace it. What will you replace it with?
Confidence. I need confidence. I'm confident.
My confidence is growing.
It's growing.
Yeah, because you can't say I'm confident, because that's not, you don't feel that way. So your brain is going to go, no, that's not true. So I am growing in confidence. My confidence is growing. I am becoming more confident.
Yes.
Okay, because it is a gradual thing. You have to do it time after time. So get up in the morning and say that every day. My English is improving. My confidence is growing.
Yes, it will be okay.
And if you start doing that, and then as you're doing that, then you can start with your vocabulary for the day, review your previous vocabulary, and you'll be in a really positive frame of mind to do that. Mindset is such an important part of any skill. Okay.
Okay.
So, habit tracker. You are what you do every day. So if you are a person that works out, that eats healthy food, you will be a fit and healthy person. This doesn't happen if you just create a diet. You have to actually do the things every single day.
Okay.
So every single day, I want you to focus on one area of this course. Vocabulary, you need to do it every single day, but you don't need to focus so much on it every day. Just find your words and do the reviews. But when it comes to pronunciation, listening, speaking skills, do a little bit every day. Okay, a little bit of practice every day. It doesn't have to be difficult. Your listening skills are going to go with your vocabulary skills, your speaking skills. It's all going to come together. So these are not things that you do independently, but they are things that you do combined. But make sure you do some every day. So if it's reading out loud is a very good way of helping with your speaking skills, because it makes not in your mind, out loud, because it makes your mouth move in the correct way. That goes with pronunciation. And obviously, when you're having a conversation, listening skills are at least half of the conversation. So that again, and you're listening to things that will improve your vocabulary. So it all blends really well in together. But try and make sure that you do some every day, because it's very easy for us to have a lesson today and then you don't do anything until the next lesson. And then you think, oh, I haven't done anything.
I can't learn for one day.
Yeah. So the thing is, just if you print something like this off, whatever works for you, this is just like a template, to make sure that you're doing something every day. Because if you check it off your box, you check a box, oh, yes, I did that today, I did that today, it will help you to focus your mind on your English. Okay?
Okay.
English won't improve if you do something once a week. You need to do it regularly, and that will then become part of your day, and you will find that it compounds up. You know finances, everything compounds up. That includes skills. Okay? So 4 steps. Find the new vocabulary. Use it. Practice it. Again, I'm going to send you all of these slides. So, and review it regularly, and then use it. So find it, use it, review it, use it. Okay. I have a very useful mantra: prepare, practice, perform. So that's so important when it comes to English. Prepare your situations. Prepare your situations by finding the right vocabulary and practice saying the right vocabulary in the right words, in the right way. So if you want to introduce yourself, then you would prepare that introduction. Who are you introducing yourself to? So say you're introducing yourself to colleagues in your industry. So you would start off by saying, hi, my name is Joanne Hayward, and I am the CEO of Fletcher Business English. Now, if you say it the first time, you might, what am I going to say? How am I going to say it? But if you say it 3 or 4 times in the mirror, when you say it to your colleagues, you're going to say it with much more confidence. Because you know you're saying it correctly. You know you're saying the right words. Okay?
Yes.
It's all about preparing what you want to say and to who, because that will change the way that you speak. And then review it regularly, practice it regularly. Okay? And use it as much as you can. So go and find opportunities to speak in English. Doesn't matter who to. It can be going to the coffee shop and ordering a coffee in English. It can be going to speak to the English teacher in your children's school and speaking in English. Use it as much as you possibly can. Because the more you use it, like playing the piano, the more you play, the easier it is to play. Okay. Okay. It's also including small talk subjects. So when you're speaking to your colleagues in the industry, I'm absolutely sure they're going to be talking about things that are not considered work, especially to start off with. So if you're getting on a Zoom meeting with colleagues, then I'm sure they're going to discuss things that are nothing to do with insurance, to wait for everyone to join the meeting. You can also prepare conversations about this. A lot of people in finance play golf. Everyone in finance plays golf all over the world. Golf is kind of one of the key things. If you're speaking to people in England, absolutely guaranteed they will be a football supporter as well. Kids, they might be talking about their kids. They might be saying how well little Johnny has done. They might have gone on holiday. The weather, if they're English, they will absolutely talk about the weather. We all do. Because the weather in England changes minute by minute. So we will always talk about the weather. Major world events, what's going on right now? Industry information, obviously finance, you've got things like inflation, crypto, anything that's going on right now, any changes in legislation, anything like that. New management of your company, obviously you wouldn't share information that's local to your company apart from with people within your company. But these are all subjects that you can prepare in advance of any meetings and just have them written down. Have a post-it note. Just an intelligent comment about, I don't know. I mean, what are we now? We're now coming up to Easter. There might be people celebrating Easter. They might be planning their summer holidays, especially with COVID finishing. Are you planning to go anywhere? Are you planning to go anywhere? So do you have a holiday planned?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
We plan to visit Croatia, Slovenia, and Germany.
Fantastic. That sounds amazing. So
1 week travel.
Sorry?
1 week travel.
That sounds like a lot of traveling in 1 week.
Yes.
So prepare that. The next time you're in a situation where there might be some small talk, you can say, I'm planning to go on holiday here, here, and here. Just practice saying it yourself, and then practice asking them, are you traveling? Because what you're preparing about yourself is not what you will volunteer. But if you say to someone, are you going anywhere this holiday? They will ask you the same question back. So you're preparing your response.
Okay.
Okay. And it's just a simple question of write the sentence down, practice saying it, put a sticky on your computer, and then you can quickly glance at your sticky and then read out your sentence. And then people will start to think better things about your English. But in addition to that, and more importantly than that, you will start to think yourself, okay, I'm a person that can engage in small talk. And that will boost your confidence because you know that you're doing it right. Okay?
Okay.
So anything that's going on, it's worth just making a note, creating one sentence about anything specific that's going on in your industry. And if the weather's really bad across Europe, or the weather's not bad across Europe, we have a sunny spell. These are all things that are that are politics. When it comes to politics, be very careful, because you must never engage in any conversation that can be controversial. So politics, you can say something about the upcoming election, but don't ever give your views, because you might upset someone who has strong views the other way. Politics, religion, these subjects are to be avoided at all costs. Okay. You don't want to upset someone else, and you don't want anyone to upset you. Okay. Great. So now, a lot of people have problems saying the time correctly. I'm going to teach you how we say the time. We use 12-hour clocks. If you use a 24-hour clock, it really doesn't matter, because you will just use the 24-hour clock. It's very straightforward. But most native English speakers will use a 12-hour clock. So this is, again, something we're going to go through now, but you can print it off and practice it. So I'm going to teach it to you now, and then randomly I'm going to ask you what time it is.
Okay.
Okay. So we have a clock here. So we have o'clock, obviously 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. That's very easy. Then we use 5 past, 10 past, quarter past, 20 past, 25 past, half past. When you get to halfway, we use the next hour. So 25 to, 22, quarter to, 10 to, 5 to. We always say, in addition, we say around that. So if it's around quarter past, so if it's maybe 12 minutes past to 17 minutes past, we would say it's around quarter past. Okay? So let's go through the examples. Can you start with the top left-hand clock? Black and white clock. What time is it?
It's first one 9 o'clock.
Okay, no, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you what time is it, and then you say for each one, say it is, and then tell me the time. Okay, and then it's more of a conversation rather than just you listing them off. So what time is it?
Time is it 9 o'clock?
It is, not
It
is
is.
it? You're not asking the question. It is 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock.
It's 9 o'clock.
Great. What about the next one, which is 24-hour clock, but I want you to say it in a 12-hour clock.
Time is 10 minutes to 10.
Okay, what we would say is it's 10 to 10.
10 to 10.
Yeah. We don't necessarily add the minutes word itself. So 10 to 10, you could say it's 9:52, but 10 to 10. Okay, next one.
And the time is 10 to 6.
10 to 6. Brilliant. Next one. What
time is 20 past 2.
Brilliant. And I want you to stop saying the time is and start saying it's. Okay, what time is it?
It's around 10 past 10.
Brilliant, perfect. That's how we would say it. We wouldn't say the time is, because if I say to you, what's the time, you would not respond with the time is. You would just say it's. And this goes for having a meeting. Let's have a meeting next week. Okay, let's say 5 o'clock. Let's say I can fit you in at 20 past 3. Okay? Okay. Great. Carry on. What time is it?
Which next?
Whichever one you like.
It is around 6:30.
Yeah, it's nearly 6:30. It's around 6:30. Brilliant. Next one. What time is it?
It is 2:45.
2:45. I want you to make sure it's an it's rather than it is, because we would always say it's rather than it is as a native speaker. What time is it?
It is 7:15.
Brilliant. It's. Don't forget it's.
It's.
Next one. Last one.
Last one. It's 5 to 12.
Brilliant. Okay, so I'm asking you now, Maja, what time is it?
Now what time is it?
Yeah, what time is it? What time is it now?
Now it's 8:45.
Perfect. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. So now we're going to do prepositions of time, which is another thing that a lot of my students get caught up in. So if something is taking place on a certain day or time, you use the word on. Let's meet on Tuesday. The presentation will take place on the 22nd of December. So our next meeting will take place on, I don't know, whenever the next meeting will take place, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. So so on is used for that. At is a certain time. So let's meet on Tuesday at 8 a.m. Okay.
Okay.
And also we say at night. So if you move on to in, you've got in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, at night. So I want to meet on Tuesday in the morning. Or I want to meet on Tuesday at 5 o'clock. Okay?
Okay.
Let's reconvene, which means let's get back together next week in the afternoon sometime. Or let's reconvene on Tuesday on Tuesday in the evening. Okay? And then I would say maybe, okay, why don't we meet at 5 p.m.? Okay. And then you also use in December or in a period of time, in 3 weeks, in a month, I'm going on holiday in June. So you would use in. So this is basically something that you can print out and just keep handy. Okay. And use it. So whenever you're talking about a meeting. So let's schedule the next meeting now. When would you like to meet next?
Next week we would see on Friday.
You'd like to meet on Friday next week?
At 8 a.m.
You don't just say on Friday 8. What do you say? On Friday at 8 a.m.
8 a.m.
At 8 a.m. So we will meet on Friday at 8 a.m. Actually, on Friday, the 17th of
Yes.
March, which is my birthday, at 8 a.m. It's also St. Patrick's Day.
Maybe you will celebrate and you will work or?
Of course I work. I work every day, but I'm actually going to the theatre with my daughters to see The Sound of Music.
It's nice.
Yeah, so actually my daughter is more excited because she loves musical theatre, but it's going to be a nice evening. So okay, so when we first had our conversation, you said you wanted to meet twice a week. Do you still want to meet twice a week, or you want to meet every Friday?
After this class lesson, I think that it's better to see each other once a week in order to have time to learn as myself and do some exercise to have some materials to ask you.
Yes, I agree. I think once a week is the perfect amount. Obviously, some people accelerate it faster, but especially if you're working and you have kids, it's very important to make time to do the homework in between. So, okay, so that's fine. So we'll meet on Friday at 8 a.m. Perfect. Okay, so I want you to organize a meeting, which is nothing to do with, we're not organizing it. This is just role play. I want you to organize a meeting with me in a couple of weeks' time. Tell me, you propose a meeting time for me.
Okay. Let's have meeting on Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Okay. I want you to change the way that you're saying it, because I want you to say, let's have a meeting on Wednesday at 7 p.m.
How to change?
Let's have a meeting.
let's have them.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a note of this because you're putting lots of extra words, and I want to delete the extra words so that because you don't need them, and you sound much more natural when you say let's have a meeting. Okay. Or you can say let's meet on Wednesday. So you would say let's meet if it's just you and somebody else. Let's have a meeting involves other people.
Other people.
Because a meeting is a meeting, and you normally have an agenda and things like that. So you could say let's have a meeting, but you would normally say let's meet on Wednesday at 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. Okay?
Okay.
So now I want you to give me a deadline. I need to complete the project. And you need to give me a few weeks. You need to give me a few weeks to do it. So can you now tell me what the deadline is?
Due date for this project is 4 weeks.
Okay, fantastic. The due date for this project is 4 weeks. Fantastic. Perfect. Okay. Any other questions? Now, I want to encourage you have me for a month. So within that time, if you have, I will create templates for you, phrases for you to use. You just need to tell me what you want to say, and I will phrase it in the correct way, and I'll send it to you in like PDF format. So then you will have the phrases and words that you need to call a meeting and anything else that you want to do. So think about what you want to be able to say in English and just drop me a line. Okay, and I will create some templates for you and send it back. And then you have something printable that you can just put up and use, because the more you use it, the easier it is to remember. Okay?
It will be great.
Great. Okay, so now what we have, we have some time. I just wanted to include some useful phrases that are very useful generally in the business scenario. So with the time that we have, we've got, about 10 minutes or whatever. So feel free to ask any questions, but I'm going to ask you to read these out. And if there's any particular phrases that you find are useful, then I want you can start off your vocabulary phrases by adding some of these to the phrases. Okay?
Okay.
So I want you to read them out. Now, the purpose of reading them out is to get you speaking English more. So read it out carefully. If you've got any questions, just ask as we're going along. And where it's got the example, read it out. But then I want you to create your own example.
Okay. Start to read all text or just example.
No, I want you to read the phrase itself, read the meaning, and then read the example, and then create your own example.
Okay. To change the date or time on an event so that it happens earlier than planned.
Bring forward. Don't forget to say bring forward, because that's the phrase you want to remember. That's the
bring forward. Okay.
Okay.
Example, the meeting has been brought forward to this Tuesday. Tuesday is instead of next week.
Okay. Can you create your own example? Try using the prepositions of time. Okay. So.
The meeting will be
brought forward.
What?
The meeting will be brought forward.
Will be brought forward to next month.
Yeah.
On Friday.
Next month on Friday. Okay, you need to be more specific. Which Friday next month?
Second weekend, second week on Friday.
Okay, perfect. Brilliant. Okay, so to bring it forward, these are all phrasal verbs. So obviously you have to change the grammar as you go along, but you're bringing a meeting forward. This is a very useful phrase because you're just bringing it closer. So from something that's, so the due date on this project is no longer 4 weeks. They've brought it, the client has brought it forward. It needs to be finished next week. You're working this weekend. Okay, next one, call off.
Call off. To decide that a planned event will not happen. Example, today's meeting has been called off and it will be probably be rescheduled for next week.
Great.
Second, our planned traveling has been called off, and we will go probably for few months.
Great. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, draw up. This is something official. So I know that you would draw up contracts, you would draw up policies, you would draw up terms and conditions, things like that. So it's something in writing. So that this is quite specific to the insurance industry and the finance industry and any industry actually where you're drawing up contracts. But I know that you would do this very regularly.
Yes.
Okay.
Draw up. To prepare something official, for example, a contract in writing. Example, now that we have agreed on the details, I'll draw up the contract and send it to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Example, I think that you understand every possible article of our contract. And I will draw up everything what we
We've discussed.
And I sent you.
Great. Wonderful. Okay. Now this is wind rather than wind. So wind obviously is the weather. Yeah, but this is wind, to wind up like a clock. So to wind up, so wind something up.
Wind up, to end something. Example, I'd like to wind up the meeting by 12 o'clock.
This is not something necessarily that you will use a lot, because it's probably not a phrase that you would necessarily have a use to use, but for sure you will hear it because other people will use it. So part of vocabulary is not necessarily only what you will hear, but only what you will use, but what you will hear as well. Okay. So like, for example, we're going to wind this meeting up in a couple of minutes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, number 5.
Looking forward to.
Yeah.
I feel excited about something that is going to happen. I look forward to seeing you all again next month for our follow-up meeting.
Great.
I'm looking forward to seeing myself to speak better English.
Fantastic. Yeah. And that's part of your mantra. I'm looking forward to hearing myself speaking better English. Don't forget to make that recording.
Yes.
Because that will, one of the problems I have, a lot of my students will say, how do I know that I've improved? Because it's very difficult to define. And that's why recording yourself is important. Also, try reading a very difficult piece of information and make a note of where you found the difficulties, and then try rereading that as well. Because as your vocabulary improves, that will also become easier. Reading and hearing, understanding will also become easy. So it's about recording where you are now, and then you can appreciate how far you've come. And when you appreciate that, it motivates you to carry on.
Yes.
Okay, great. Number 6.
What is this? Jot down to write something quickly on a piece of paper so that you remember it. I jotted down most of details from the meeting to help me relate it to them.
The team.
Team, okay.
So to jot down, it's a very casual thing. You're just like, I've jotted down a couple of notes here. The fact that you want to meet next week on Friday at 8 o'clock. Okay.
I jotted down most of the lessons in school in order to learn easier.
Fantastic. Okay, number 7.
Run out of to say that there is not much time left or something has finished. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, so we'll have to leave steps 4 and 5 to the next meeting.
You can run out of things that not just time. You can run, like everyone during COVID thought they were going to run in England. They thought they were going to run out of toilet paper. So everybody went and bought huge amounts of toilet paper. So you can run out of anything. You can run out of time, run out of money, run out of paper, run out of anything. Okay.
I run out of time and we need to finish because I have some other meeting after this.
Okay. Do you have another meeting? Because we can carry on for a few minutes if you like. You have.
No, okay. I have a meeting 9:30.
Okay. Should we do the last one then? Number 8.
Deal with to take action with something or a person. Mike, do you mind dealing with this particular issue? And if you could get back to me by next week with the outcome, that will be great. Please deal with this paper with this document and send me a final version.
Fantastic. With you in a management position, you would ask your personal assistant to deal with lots of stuff, I'm sure. Yeah. Deal with this person. Can you deal with this situation? You know, that's anything. That would be probably one of the most useful phrases for you. Because you're not specifying how to deal with it. You can specify how to deal with it extra, but can you just deal with the filing or deal with the whatever? Okay. There are some others. But as I said, I'm going to send you this document anyway, so you can actually go through it at your leisure. Okay. I want you to also make some time to read out loud, because you're reading, you know all the words, you're just hesitant when it comes to reading, and I can feel that kind of nervousness. So the way to get over nervousness is to just do it. So even if you read out loud the information that's on the slides, you don't have to do it for long, but the more you do it, the more confident you will feel that you know the words. Okay? Okay. Do you have any questions?
No, I have a lot of tasks to our next session.
The thing is about the tasks that I know you feel now, it's like, but it's more about creating habits. So definitely record yourself speaking and definitely like make a note of where you are now. Create your goal. So write your goal down. And then it's just about implementing habits that you can do every day that will grow your language skills day by day. Okay, so maybe allocate yourself half an hour or something in the morning and just focus on your English and do something. But you obviously you need to do where you can find your vocabulary, so where the podcasts are, which podcast, and that will just help you not to waste time every morning, because you know where you're going and you know what articles you're going to read. So what you can do is just do a link to the articles that you want to read and put that down in your English section for the following day. Yeah. I will send you, I need to upload this to the to YouTube. When it's finished, I'll send you the link and I'll send you the PDF of the files as well. So that'll be done probably before the morning is finished, because sometimes it takes a while to upload to YouTube. Okay?
Okay.
Any questions you have? Sorry?
It was my pleasure.
It was my pleasure too. You did a great job, and I think you're going to see a big improvement, because I think that your English is very good already. We just need to next week's going to be pronunciation, and we're going to deal with some of the pronunciation issues that you have and give you some exercises that you can do moving forward. All of this advice is for you moving forward, so you don't need guidance. You will just need things that you can do on your own to practice. Okay, great. So I'll see you on Friday. I will send you the link on Friday, but I'll block you out in my diary. I don't send the links beforehand because you might lose them, so it might get caught up in the stream of other messages. So any questions, let me know, and I'll create some templates for you, and I'll send this stuff to you later on today.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good day. See you soon.
Thank you. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.